The comment Coco Gauff made immediately after her first ever WTA win, which she thought may have sounded bad. Gauff was just 15 at the time of her WTA Tour debut, but showed glimpses of what was to come in her first main draw match. She faced fellow American teenager Catherine McNally, and came from behind to win their Miami Open clash 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Gauff was ranked 456th in the world at the time, but showed little fear at the WTA 1000 hardcourt tournament in Miami, where she had been handed a wild card. She produced a hard-fought display to really impress those watching on, although her dreams were quickly shattered by Daria Kasatkina in round 2. The bad comment Coco Gauff made right after her first ever win on the WTA Tour. But before Kasatkina defeated Gauff 6-3, 6-2, the American was on hand to express her emotions after that debut win over McNally. She told reporters afterwards, "I really tried to minimize the moment, and just tried to think of it as practice. I know that may sound bad, but it kind of helped me. I just kind of put myself in a mindset that, if I don't stay positive, and if I don't go for my shots, then I'm going to lose. So I just went for it, and it ended up helping me in the end." And when asked if having a familiar opponent helped keep her grounded, Gauff responded, "Yeah, definitely. I played her twice before this, and they were both in juniors. This is a whole different thing for me, but I kind of, again, tried to minimize the moment. It kind of helped, obviously, because I knew her tendencies, but also I think it helps her, we both kind of had an advantage because we know each other's games very well. I think that anyone could have won today, and I think the match just was really decided by 2 or 3 points." How Coco Gauff surprised herself with the first WTA win at the 2019 Miami Open. It turned out to be an unforgettable season for the young American, who claimed her first WTA title in 2019 at Linz. Gauff defeated Venus Williams at Wimbledon that year too, which has undoubtedly played a role in her impressive journey since. Now aged 21, she has 11 WTA titles to her name, with 276 professional wins and over $29 million in career earnings. But the teenager was in an unfamiliar situation following the win over McNally in Miami, after which she was also asked if she may feel differently looking back on the victory in the days that followed. She replied, "Well, I still don't believe that I won. After the match, I served for the match and I was like, do I have to return again, or do we shake hands? I didn't really think it was over. This is a dream, I have been dreaming of this moment for years, just playing in the Miami Open. And I have been coming to this tournament since I was 8 or 9 years old. Watching the players here and actually being in the same tournament, being in the same area as players that I've watched since practically I was born, it's so surreal to me." Kasatkina, the 14th seed, then played the role of the villain, but the tennis world had seen enough of Gauff to know just how talented a player she would go on to be. 6 years later, she is not only winning matches but winning titles, having just lifted the trophy at the Wuhan Open. Only the birth of a champion, but also the unfiltered voice of a 15-year-old phenom learning how to navigate the spotlight. Amid the tears of joy, applause, and flashing cameras, a single comment she made in her post-match interview became one of the most memorable, and, in her own words, maybe sounded bad, moments of her early career. It was pure, spontaneous Coco, a mixture of humility, humor, and self-awareness that hinted at the strong, grounded woman she would one day become. After defeating Elena Ostapenko to win the title, the youngest WTA champion in over a decade was asked how she felt about making history. Gauff, glowing from victory, smiled and said something along the lines of, "I'm just glad I got it done." Then, realizing how flat that might sound for such a life-changing moment, she quickly added with a laugh, "That sounds bad. I mean, I'm super happy, but it's just been a long week." It was a moment of innocent honesty, an admission that behind the glory, there was exhaustion, pressure, and the surreal realization of having achieved something she had dreamed about for years. The crowd laughed warmly, sensing that they were watching not just a star in the making, but a teenager learning in real time how to balance emotion and expectation. The unfiltered honesty that defines Coco. What made that bad comment so human was its authenticity. Gauff's reaction was not scripted or polished by media training, it was real. She didn't yet have the media reflexes that most seasoned players develop after years on tour. Instead, she was still a kid, raw, thoughtful, and honest to the core. That candidness became one of her defining traits, a quality that fans would come to love as much as her blistering forehand or her court coverage. Looking back, that brief moment was more revealing than it seemed. It showcased a young athlete who already understood the weight of public perception but refused to hide behind clichés. Her self-correction, "That sounds bad," wasn't just a nervous slip, it was the start of her growth into someone who could speak with both sincerity and awareness, a balance that many athletes twice her age struggled to find. The pressure behind the smile. At 15, Coco Gauff was under immense pressure. She had just captured the world's attention months earlier at Wimbledon by defeating Venus Williams in the first round. Headlines screamed that she was the next Serena. Sponsors lined up. The expectations were crushing for anyone, let alone a teenager still finishing school assignments between matches. So when she finally broke through in Linz, there was a release of emotion, but also fatigue. Gauff had gone through qualifying rounds just to enter the main draw. She had faced setbacks, long matches, and the constant buzz of attention. Her, "I'm just glad I got it done," wasn't indifference, it was relief. It was the exhaustion of a young athlete carrying a nation's expectations on her back. In that sense, the comment symbolized more than youthful awkwardness. It revealed the duality of being Coco Gauff, the joy of success and the strain of scrutiny. She understood, even then, that her every word would be dissected, her tone analyzed. And yet, she didn't hide behind perfection. She allowed her humanity to show. A glimpse of the future. Years later, when asked about that first title, Gauff has laughed about the moment. "I think I sounded ungrateful, but I was just tired," she has said with a grin. That ability to laugh at herself, to look back with humility and grace, is exactly what has endeared her to millions. Her maturity since that first win has been remarkable. Today, when she speaks after victories, or even defeats, she carries the poise of someone who has learned how to handle the microphone as skillfully as her racket. But the spark of that 15-year-old who accidentally said something bad still shines through. She continues to speak her mind, even when it might not sound perfect. She still values authenticity over polish.